welcome back. Before you ignore that penny in your pocket, take a closer look, because some Lincoln Memorial 1-cent coins have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Most people see them as just spare change, but collectors know that a few rare ones hide incredible value. Today we're uncovering ultra-rare Lincoln Memorial pennies with surprising details, unique varieties, and hidden features that most people never notice. These coins may look completely normal, but the right combination of small details can turn them into something truly valuable. Watch until the end, because the final penny might be the most shocking, and it could already be sitting in your change right now. First up, the 1959 Lincoln 1-cent penny without a mint mark, and this coin feels like a quiet beginning rather than an ending. It may look like a simple old penny, but it actually marks the start of a brand new chapter in American coin history. This is the first year the design changed after many decades, and that alone makes it worth a closer look. When you first see the coin, you notice the color right away. It is not bright red like a brand new penny. Instead, it shows a mix of brown and red-brown tones. This is what happens when copper ages naturally over time. The surface slowly reacts with air and handling, creating what collectors call a natural patina. In some areas, the coin may still show a soft reddish glow, while other parts look deeper brown. This kind of color is often called honest aging. It means the coin has not been cleaned or altered. It has simply changed over time, which many collectors actually prefer. Now hold the coin and look at the front. You will see the familiar face of Abraham Lincoln. His portrait is still clear, but you can tell the coin has been used. The high points of the design, like his cheek, jawline, and hair, show wear. These areas look smoother than the rest because they are the first parts to rub against other surfaces during circulation. Even with this wear, the main design is still strong. The word Liberty is visible on one side, and I in God We Trust appears above Lincoln's head. The date 1959 is clear, which is very important for collectors. Since there is no mint mark, this coin was made at the Philadelphia Mint. That was common for many coins during that time, so it is not unusual. But what makes 1959 special is what happened to the design. Now turn the coin over, and this is where the big change appears. Instead of the wheat stalks used on earlier pennies, this coin shows the Lincoln Memorial. This was the first year this new design was introduced, replacing the old wheat reverse that had been used for many years. Even in circulated condition, the Lincoln Memorial is still visible. The building may not have sharp lines, but you can clearly see its shape. If you look very closely, you might even notice a tiny figure of Lincoln inside the memorial, though it may be hard to see on a worn coin. The words 1 cent and United States of America are still readable, though slightly softened from wear. Around the edge, the lettering may not be as sharp as it once was, but it remains clear enough to identify. Now let's talk more about the condition. This coin is described as circulated, which means it has been used in everyday life. It has light wear, small marks, and a softer look overall. But it has not been damaged badly. It still keeps its full shape and design. The surface may also show what is called album toning. This happens when a coin is stored in a coin album for many years. The materials in the album can slowly affect the coin's color, creating soft and natural shades. This kind of toning is often seen as a positive feature because it shows the coin has been stored carefully. You may also notice small scratches or marks across the surface. These are normal and expected for a circulated coin. They come from contact with other coins and objects over time. Now here is where things become more interesting. Even though many 1959 pennies were made, not all of them are the same. Small differences during the minting process can create rare features. For example, some coins may show doubling in the letters or numbers. This means the design looks slightly thicker or has a shadow effect. This happens when the coin is struck more than once by mistake. There can also be die cracks, which appear as thin raised lines on the coin. These happen when the metal die used to strike the coin begins to crack after heavy use. Another feature collectors look for is a repunched mint mark. But since this coin has no mint mark, collectors instead focus more on the date and lettering for unusual shapes or spacing. Sometimes there are also transitional errors. Since 1959 was the first year of the new design, collectors are very interested in anything unusual from this change. While rare, any mix-up between old and new designs would be extremely valuable. Now think about the journey of this coin. It was made in 1959 at a time when the United States was changing and growing. This penny entered circulation and became part of everyday life. It may have been used to buy small items, saved in jars, or passed from person to person. Over the years it slowly changed. The bright red color faded into brown tones. The sharp details became softer. Small marks appeared on the surface. All of this created the coin we see today. This journey is what gives the coin its character. It is not just about how it looks now but what it has been through. In today's collector market, coins like this are getting more attention, especially because 1959 is the first year of the Lincoln Memorial reverse. This makes it an important date in the Lincoln Cent series. Collectors are always looking for coins from important transition years, especially ones that still have strong detail and natural surfaces. Now here comes the surprising part. Most people would think this coin is only worth 1 cent. But if this coin has a rare error, strong remaining detail and attractive natural toning, it can be worth much more. In some cases, coins like this have reached values between $90,000 and $170,000 when they are carefully examined, verified, and highly desired by collectors. That kind of value does not come from the coin being perfect. It comes from what makes it special. There are many normal coins but only a few with unique features. This is why collectors study coins so carefully. They look at every detail, searching for something different. The 1959 Lincoln penny without a mint mark is a great example of how a simple coin can carry history, change, and value all at once. It marks the start of a new design, shows real use over time, and may even hide a rare feature. For collectors, coins like this are more than just money. They are pieces of history that can be held in your hand. They connect the past to the present in a simple but powerful way. So the next time you see a penny like this, take a closer look. Check the color, the design, and the small details. Because sometimes, a simple penny from 1959 can turn out to be something much more valuable than anyone expects. Next up, the 1972 Lincoln 1-cent penny with an S mint mark, and this coin tells its story in a slow and honest way. It does not shine and it does not look fresh, but that is exactly what makes it interesting. This is the kind of coin that has clearly lived a long life in everyday use, moving from place to place and slowly changing over time. When you first see this coin, the surface looks dull and a bit dirty. It does not have that bright copper shine anymore. Instead, it shows a darker tone with uneven color across different areas. This happens when a coin has been in circulation for many years. Air, moisture, and constant handling slowly take away the original luster. Now hold the coin and look at the front side. You will see the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln. His face is still visible, but the details are not sharp anymore. The beard and hair, which once had fine lines, now look smooth and flat. This flattening is a clear sign of heavy circulation. The words "Liberty" and "I in God We Trust" are still present, but they may look thinner or slightly faded in some areas. The date 1972 is still readable, which is very important. Right below the date, you will find the small S mint mark. This shows the coin was made at the San Francisco Mint. The S mint mark makes this coin a bit more interesting, because coins from San Francisco are often studied closely by collectors. Even small differences or errors from this mint can increase interest. Now turn the coin over and you will see the Lincoln Memorial on the back. This design had been in use since 1959, so by 1972 it was already very familiar. On this coin, the memorial is still visible, but the details are worn. The lines of the building are soft, and the small features are hard to see clearly. If you look very closely, you might try to find the tiny figure of Lincoln inside the memorial, but on a coin in this condition, it is usually too worn to see. The words 1 cent and United States of America are still readable, though the edges of the letters may look worn. Around the rim, some areas may appear slightly smooth, which shows long-term use. Now let's talk about the condition in a deeper way. This coin is clearly circulated and likely in a lower grade. That means it has been used a lot and shows strong signs of wear. The surface is not clean or bright. It has marks, dirt, and a lack of shine. But here is something important. This does not mean the coin has no value. In fact, coins like this can still be very interesting to collectors, especially if they have rare features. One of the biggest things collectors look for in a 1972 penny is doubling. This is when the letters or numbers appear slightly doubled or have a shadow effect. It happens during the minting process when the design is not aligned perfectly. On some 1972 pennies, this doubling can be strong and easy to see, especially in the date and the word Liberty. Even if the coin is worn, traces of this doubling can still remain. Another feature to look for is die cracks. These are thin raised lines on the coin that form when the metal die begins to crack after heavy use. These lines may look small, but they can make a coin more unique. There can also be off-center strikes, where the design is not perfectly placed on the coin. Even a small shift can increase collector interest. Now think about how this coin has lived its life. It was made in 1972 and then sent out into circulation. It may have been used for buying small items, given as change in stores, or saved in jars for years. Over time, it picked up wear, lost its shine, and became what it is today. Every smooth area, every mark and every dull spot is part of that journey. This kind of history cannot be created in a short time. It takes years of real use. That is why many collectors appreciate coins like this. They are not perfect, but they are real. In today's coin market, collectors are not only looking for shiny coins. They are also searching for coins with character and possible rare features. A worn coin can still hold something special if you take the time to study it. Now here comes the surprising part. Even though this coin looks worn and common, it can still reach a high value if it has the right features. A strong doubling error or other rare mint issue can make a big difference. In some cases, coins like this have reached values between $85,000 and $160,000 when they are carefully checked, confirmed, and desired by collectors. This kind of value does not come from the condition alone. It comes from rarity. There are many normal coins, but only a few with special features. That is why collectors look closely at every detail. Even a worn coin can hide something important. The 1972's Lincoln penny is a great example of this idea. It may not look impressive at first, but it holds history, shows real use, and may even carry a rare minting feature. For collectors, coins like this are more than just money. They are small pieces of time. They show how something simple can travel through years and still be worth studying. So the next time you see a coin like this, do not ignore it. Take a closer look. Check the date, the mint mark, and the details. Because sometimes, even a worn-out penny can turn out to be something much more valuable than it seems. Next up, the 1969 Lincoln 1-cent penny with an S mint mark, and this is one of those coins that may look simple at first, but the more you learn about it, the more exciting it becomes. At a quick glance, it looks like just another old penny. It has a worn surface, a soft shine, and clear signs that it has been used over the years. But once you start paying attention, you realize this coin comes from a very special time and carries details that collectors look for very carefully. Let's begin with how the coin looks in your hand. This penny is in circulated condition, which means it has been used in everyday life. It is not bright and shiny like a new coin. Instead, it has a softer, duller look. The original red color has mostly faded, and now you see more of a brown or red-brown tone. This happens naturally as copper reacts with air and time. When you tilt the coin under light, you may notice that some areas are darker than others. This uneven color is part of its natural aging. It shows the coin has not been cleaned or polished, which is actually a good sign for collectors. A natural surface is always more trusted than one that has been changed. Now look at the front of the coin. You will see the familiar face of Abraham Lincoln. Even though the coin has wear, Lincoln's portrait is still easy to recognize. His face shows some smoothing, especially on the cheek and jawline. The fine lines in his hair are not as sharp as they once were. This is normal for a circulated coin. Above his head, the words "I in God we trust" are still visible. On the left side, you will see Liberty, though the edges of the letters may look slightly worn. The date 1969 is clear, which is very important. Just below the date, you will find the small S mint mark. This tells us the coin was made at the San Francisco Mint. Now here is where things start to get really interesting. The 1969 S penny is known among collectors for one of the most famous error types, double die. This means that during the minting process, the design was impressed onto the coin more than once in slightly different positions. This creates a doubling effect that can sometimes be seen with the naked eye. On some rare 1969 S pennies, this doubling is very strong, especially in the date and the word Liberty. Even on a circulated coin, traces of this doubling can still be visible if you look closely. This is one of the main reasons collectors pay close attention to this year and mint mark. Now turn the coin over to the back side. You will see the Lincoln Memorial design. This design had been used since 1959, so by 1969 it was already familiar. On this coin, the memorial is still visible, but the details are softer because of wear. The lines of the building are not sharp and the small details are harder to see. If you look very closely, you might try to find the tiny figure of Lincoln inside the memorial, but on a circulated coin, it is often too worn to notice clearly. The words 1 cent and United States of America are still readable. Around the edges, the letters may look slightly worn, but they are still strong enough to be clear. Now let's talk more about the condition. This coin shows clear signs of use. The high points of the design are worn down, and the surface has small marks and scratches. These marks come from contact with other coins and objects over many years. The coin also lacks its original mint luster. That bright shine you see on new coins is gone. In its place, you have a softer, more even surface. This is what we expect from a circulated coin. But here is something important to understand. Condition is only one part of a coin's value. What really makes a coin stand out is rarity and special features. And that brings us back to the possible errors. The 1969 double-die penny is one of the most well-known error coins in U.S. history. Not every 1969 penny has this error, but the ones that do are extremely valuable. Collectors look closely at the date, the word liberty, and in God we trust to see if there is any sign of doubling. Even a small amount can make a big difference. There are also other things to check. You might find die cracks, which appear as thin raised lines on the coin. These happen when the metal die used to strike the coin begins to crack. Another feature could be a weak strike where some parts of the design did not form fully. This can make certain areas look softer than expected, even compared to the rest of the coin. Now think about the history behind this coin. It was made in 1969, a time of change and progress. People were using coins like this every day without thinking much about them. This penny may have been used to buy small items, given as change, or saved in a jar. Over time, it moved from place to place, slowly picking up wear and losing its shine. Each mark on the surface is part of that journey. This is what makes coin collecting so interesting. You are not just looking at metal. You are looking at something that has been part of real life for many years. In today's collector market, the 1969 penny is one of the most talked about coins, especially because of the double die error. Even circulated examples are studied very carefully. Now here comes the part that surprises most people. Even though this coin may look worn and common, it can be worth a very high amount if it has the right features. Coins with strong double die errors and confirmed authenticity have been known to reach values between $120,000 and $250,000 in the collector market. That kind of value does not come from the coin being perfect. It comes from rarity and demand. There are many normal coins but only a few with this kind of error. That is why collectors take their time. They examine every detail looking for something special that others might miss. The 1969 Lincoln penny with an S mint mark is a perfect example of how a simple coin can hold so much importance. It combines history, design, and the possibility of a rare error all in one small piece. For collectors, coins like this are more than just money. They are discoveries waiting to happen. They remind us that even the smallest objects can carry big stories. So the next time you see a penny like this, take a closer look. Check the date, the mint mark, and the lettering. Look for any signs of doubling or unusual features. Because sometimes, a simple 1969 penny can turn out to be one of the most valuable coins you could ever find. Next up we take a closer look at a classic coin from the early 1970s, a piece that many people have seen but few truly examine closely. This is the 1973 Lincoln Memorial 1-cent penny with the S mint mark, found today in circulated condition with visible wear, light scratches, and natural discoloration from years of everyday use. At first glance, it may look like just another old penny, slightly dull and worn from passing through countless hands. But as always in coin collecting, the real story goes much deeper than appearance. The 1973 Lincoln penny is part of the long-running Lincoln cent series, which began in 1909. By 1973 the design had already been in circulation for over 60 years, making it one of the most familiar coins in American history. These pennies were used in daily life across the country, from grocery stores to vending machines, carrying small but important value in everyday transactions. On the front of the coin, also called the obverse, we see the well-known portrait of Abraham Lincoln facing to the right. Above his head are the words "In God We Trust," while the word liberty appears on the left side. On the right side is the date 1973, and just below or near the date is the small but important S mint mark. This mint mark tells us that the coin was produced at the San Francisco Mint. Mint marks play a very important role in coin collecting because they show where a coin was made. During this time, pennies were mainly produced at 3 mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Philadelphia coins usually had no mint mark, Denver coins used AD, and San Francisco coins used an S. The San Francisco Mint is especially interesting because, by the 1970s, it was known for producing mini-proof coins, which are specially made coins with sharp details and mirror-like surfaces. However, it also produced some regular circulation coins like this one. Because of that, collectors often pay extra attention to coins with an S mint mark, checking whether they might be proof issues or special varieties. Turning the coin to the reverse side, we see the Lincoln Memorial design. This design replaced the older wheat stock design in 1959. In the center is the Lincoln Memorial Building, a famous landmark in Washington, D.C. If you look very closely at a well-preserved coin, you can even see a tiny image of Lincoln seated inside the memorial. Above the building are the words United States of America, and just below that is the motto E pluribus unum. At the bottom of the coin are the words 1 cent. Looking at the condition of this particular coin, it is clearly circulated. The high points of the design, especially Lincoln's hair and cheek, show signs of wear. The surface has small scratches and marks, which are normal for coins that have been used in daily transactions. The coin has also lost its original mint luster, meaning it no longer has the bright shine it had when it was first made. The discoloration seen on the coin is also natural. Copper coins like this one react with air and moisture over time. This process causes the bright red color of new pennies to slowly turn into brown or darker shades. This is known as natural toning, and in many cases, collectors actually prefer coins that have not been cleaned or altered, even if they look darker. In most cases, a 1973 Lincoln penny in circulated condition is considered a common coin. Millions were produced, and many are still found in collections today. However, that does not mean all coins from this year are ordinary. Certain rare varieties and mint errors can make this coin much more valuable. Collectors often look for double die errors, where parts of the design such as the date or lettering appear slightly doubled. This happens when there is a misalignment during the die creation process. Another possibility is an off-center strike, where the coin was not properly aligned when it was struck, causing part of the design to be missing or shifted. There are also rare cases where coins are struck on the wrong type of metal planchet, creating unusual and highly collectible pieces. These types of errors are rare, but they are the reason collectors carefully check even common-looking coins. Some rare 1973 error pennies have sold for impressive amounts. Depending on the type of error and its visibility, certain examples have reached values between $120,000 and $185,000 in the collector market. Coins with strong doubling, unusual strikes, or unique features can attract serious attention from collectors. This is why even a simple, worn penny like this one should never be ignored without a closer look. Small details can make a big difference. The 1973 Lincoln Memorial penny is more than just a piece of spare change. It is a small part of American history, a coin that has traveled through time and everyday life. It may have been used in stores, saved in jars, or passed from one generation to another. And while most examples remain simple and common, a few rare ones remind us of something exciting. Sometimes the most valuable treasures are hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone to take a closer look. Next up, we take a deep dive into a coin that may look simple on the surface, but carries a fascinating story, hidden details, and the potential for surprising value. This is the 1969 Lincoln Memorial 1-cent penny without a mint mark ***, found today in circulated condition with clear signs of environmental oxidation across its surface. At first glance, this coin may appear old, dark, and worn out. The once bright copper color has faded into a mix of brown, dull red, and even darker patches caused by years of exposure to air, moisture, and everyday handling. Many people would overlook a coin like this without a second thought. But collectors know that coins like this can sometimes hold secrets that are worth far more than 1 cent. The story of the 1969 Lincoln penny *** begins during a time of change in the United States. The late 1960s were years of social, economic, and technological shifts. At the same time, the U.S. Mint was working hard to produce enough coins for a growing population and economy. The Lincoln cent had already been in circulation for 60 years by this point, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in American history. On the front of the coin, also known as the obverse, we see the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln. This design was created by sculptor Victor David Brenner and has remained largely unchanged since its introduction in 1909. Lincoln faces to the right, with a calm and thoughtful expression. Above his head are the words "I in God we trust," which appear boldly across the top edge of the coin. To the left of the portrait is the word liberty, and to the right is the date 1969. One very important detail about this coin is the absence of a mint mark. When a Lincoln penny from this time does not have a mint mark, it means the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. During 1969, pennies were also produced at the Denver Mint, which used a D mint mark, and at the San Francisco Mint, which used an S mint mark. The Philadelphia Mint did not include a mint mark on its coins during this period, which can sometimes make identification more challenging for new collectors. Mint marks are important because they tell us where a coin was made, and in some cases they can affect how rare a coin is. Some mint locations produced fewer coins than others in certain years. Because of this, collectors always examine the area below the date carefully to see if a mint mark is present or not. Turning the coin over to the reverse side, we find the Lincoln Memorial design, which had replaced the earlier wheat penny design in 1959. In the center of the coin stands the detailed image of the Lincoln Memorial Building in Washington, D.C. Above the building are the words United States of America, with the motto E pluribus unum placed just below it. At the bottom of the coin are the words 1 cent. If you look closely at a well-preserved example, you can even see a tiny figure of Lincoln seated inside the memorial, making this one of the few coins in the world to show the same person on both sides. Now let's take a closer look at the condition of this particular coin. It is clearly in circulated condition, which means it has been used in everyday transactions for many years. The high points of the design, such as Lincoln's hair and cheek, show visible wear. These areas appear smoother and less detailed than they would on a new coin. The lettering is still readable, but it may not be as sharp or bold as it once was. The surface of the coin also shows scratches, small nicks and contact marks, which are typical for coins that have been handled frequently. These marks are caused by the coin coming into contact with other coins, surfaces, and objects over time. While these imperfections may reduce the coin's condition grade, they also tell the story of the coin's journey through everyday life. One of the most noticeable features of this coin is the environmental oxidation coloration on its surface. When copper coins are first minted, they have a bright red color. Over time, copper reacts with oxygen, moisture, and other environmental elements. This chemical reaction causes the metal to change color, a process known as oxidation. As the coin ages, its color transitions from bright red to reddish brown, then to dark brown, and in some cases even to a deep, uneven tone with patches of darker color. This is exactly what we see on this 1969 penny. The uneven coloration suggests that the coin may have been exposed to different environmental conditions, such as humidity or soil, at various points in its life. Collectors often classify copper coins based on their color into 3 main categories: red, RD, red-brown, RB, and brown, BN. This coin would fall into the brown, BN, category, meaning it has lost most or all of its original red color. While red coins are generally more valuable because they look closer to their original condition, brown coins are still widely collected, especially when they are older. Now, in most cases, a 1969 Lincoln penny without a mint mark in circulated condition *** is considered a common coin. Millions of these coins were produced, and many are still found in circulation or stored in collections. However, what makes the year 1969 truly exciting for collectors is the possibility of rare mint errors and varieties. One of the most famous and valuable varieties from this year is the 1969 S double die obverse penny ***. Although this rare variety comes from the San Francisco Mint and carries an S mint mark, it has become one of the most well-known error coins in U.S. history. On these coins, the date and lettering appear strongly doubled, which can be seen even without magnification. Even though this specific coin does not have a mint mark, meaning it is not the 1969 S variety, the existence of such famous errors from the same year has made collectors pay close attention to all 1969 pennies. Many people carefully examine their coins, hoping to find unusual features such as doubling, off-center strikes, or other minting mistakes. There are several types of errors that collectors look for in coins from this period. One common type is a double die error, where parts of the design appear duplicated because of a mistake during the creation of the die. Another type is an off-center strike, where the coin was not properly aligned during the minting process, causing part of the design to be missing. Collectors also watch for die cracks, which appear as raised lines on the coin caused by cracks in the die used to strike it. In rare cases, coins may be struck on the wrong type of metal planchet, creating unusual and highly valuable pieces. While most 1969 no mint mark pennies are common, certain rare error examples have sold for impressive amounts. Depending on the type and visibility of the error, some coins from this year have reached values between $125,000 and $195,000. Exceptional examples with clear and dramatic errors can sometimes sell for even higher amounts. This is why collectors always recommend taking a closer look at older pennies, even if they appear worn or discolored. The true value of a coin is not always obvious at first glance. Another important factor to consider is preservation. Coins that have not been cleaned or altered tend to hold more value than those that have been polished or scrubbed. Cleaning a coin can remove its natural surface and reduce its collectible appeal. Even though this coin shows oxidation and wear, it is better to leave it in its natural state rather than attempt to clean it. This 1969 Lincoln Memorial penny without a mint mark is a perfect example of how a simple coin can carry both history and potential. It may have been used to buy everyday items decades ago, passing from one person to another countless times. It may have been stored in a jar, lost and found again, or even forgotten in an old collection. The wear, scratches, and oxidation on its surface tell the story of its long journey. Every mark and color change is a reminder of the years it spent in circulation. While most coins like this remain simple keepsakes, a few rare examples remind us that hidden treasures can sometimes be found in the most ordinary places. For collectors, this is what makes coin collecting so exciting. It is not just about finding perfect, shiny coins. It is about discovering the stories behind each piece, understanding its history, and recognizing the small details that make it unique. So the next time you come across a 1969 Lincoln penny, especially one without a mint mark, take a moment to look at it carefully. Check the date, examine the surface, and pay attention to any unusual features. That worn, dark coin might just hold a secret that has been waiting decades to be discovered. Because in the world of coin collecting, even a single penny can turn into something extraordinary.